Good morning. I just spent all night watching the states go red, and it got to about 7 a.m. Hillary Clinton's campaign manager went out on stage and said, "Look, there are still votes to count. We've got a long night ahead of us. Everyone get some rest, tune out for a bit. Not much is going to happen." So I went to bed, and about 45 minutes later, I heard a lot of cheering and like a fanfare horn section. And I came outside and it said Donald Trump elected US president, and all of my housemates, there was four other people in the living room, were all just standing around the TV. They hadn't been watching it, so they just woke up to this. And so I sat down and listened to what the next president had to say. And I felt really disappointed by the people I live with, because they were just very, the country's fucked and this is shit and I can't believe it. And at one point Donald Trump went, "This politics stuff is tough," and they all sort of laughed and said, "Oh, this is ridiculous." It's very probably reflective of how half the country feels waking up this morning. But here's the point, right? America is a democratic country, and you could have woken up to Hillary Clinton being president and the other half of the country potentially thinking the election is rigged. That was a genuine fear. People were worried that Trump was gonna resist the results, and loads of people would think the election was rigged. There might be riots, all these things. But here's what we do have. We have a fair system where a person, I say a fair system, what I mean is a system where people's votes have been counted and there has been a winner. And whatever you think about the winner, that's who the winner is. Half the country voted for him. And if it's not your half of the country, and I say this as a liberal person who didn't want him to win, you have to respect the other half, We've had Obama, and again, I'm not American, but, sort of in terms of my ideology, we've had Obama for 8 years. And that's how the democratic process works, Half the country gets their guy for a bit, and then the other side gets their guy. We were hoping it would be a woman, but that's just the way it is, It goes back and forth. If you don't like him, and there's a lot to dislike about him, sure, but if you don't like him, then I assume the reasons why are because he seems intolerant, particularly offensive to certain groups of people. But if you're going to react to him with offence and intolerance, then you haven't learned anything. He's in charge now, and look, you have a right to your emotions. And I remember a few months ago in the UK, I voted to stay in the European Union, and the country voted to leave. And I woke up in the morning thinking that this didn't feel like my country anymore. Like, I felt very uncomfortable that over half the people in the country were so opposed to the way I felt and the way I thought about things. I felt almost like I was embarrassed to be British, because that was the consensus. But you know what? Half the country voted to stay in. The thing that made us British was not the result, it's the fact that we had enough diversity to have the discussion and have the vote and have it be so close. And that's the same in America. Don't be embarrassed to be American because Donald Trump's the president. Be proud of the fact that we've got to a point where almost half the country wanted Hillary Clinton to be president. And sure, the other half want Donald Trump. Maybe not even want Donald Trump, but they just think he's the best option. Bear that in mind as well. And I just think we have to be a bit more tolerant. And, feel what you need to feel. You can be sad or angry or whatever you feel. But when that's subsided and you've made peace with it, he's still going to be president. And what are you going to do, He's made a lot of promises on the campaign, and most people, or a lot of people, have said that they're empty promises, that he can't deliver on them. But he's got to now, because he's the president. So let's just see what happens. If he doesn't deliver on them, people will notice pretty fucking quickly, and he won't get re-elected. So we'll see what happens, mate. Let's just remain calm and remember that we all love each other because your president doesn't define you, doesn't define your country, and I guess that's just what I wanted to say. It's very hard to be. We're in a bit sort of an echo chamber, like a liberal bubble. People that thought it was obvious that Clinton would win, they think that because the people they follow on Twitter are people that agree with them, and so they only hear people saying, "Of course, Clinton should win," and "Trump's an idiot," and blah blah blah. And instead of looking at the view that the manner of it's time to wake up. Instead of looking at the view that the manner of Trump's speaking, the way that he seems inexperienced with politics, to people that vote for him, it isn't that he's inexperienced in an amateurish, undeserving way. It's that he is untouched by the corruption of politics. He's fresh. You know, he has a new take on it. He's coming from a different side. He's more like them. He's more like me. He's an ordinary person with a butler and casinos and a skyscraper and things. But you know, he's not a politician. He's not one of those removed figures that we can't relate to. He's more like us in a way. And you don't think that because you just hear from people that think the same things you do. And you have to be bigger than that. This is proof, you know? There's a whole load of people that don't agree with you, and they're not wrong. You just don't agree. And that's so important to remember. People have diversity of opinion, and this is a huge lesson in that, I think. If you didn't vote for him or want him to be elected, then remember the validation of the people that did, and that neither of you are wrong just because you don't agree with each other. And give the guy a chance, because what else is there, you know? And we'll see how it goes. That's what I have to say this morning. Thank you to the great rainy weather outside. God bless us all, and God bless the United States of America.